Sportsman with Gareth McGuinness.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Massive podcast tonight for a massive preview for Arsenal against Liverpool. The gloves are off and the two boys is here tonight. Boys, sorry I kept you waiting there. Unfortunately for the viewers as well, it was on a Spurs podcast there, so that's why we're running slightly late. Nothing to do with the two fellas, so blame me for that there. But look, fantastic game to look forward to this weekend. Not just for Arsenal and Liverpool fans, but for Premier League football fans, me as well. I'm particularly looking forward to it. A lot on the line, especially for Arsenal. Lads, what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick, just going to get the feel for the podcast tonight, how you're feeling ahead of the game, and then we're going to go back in time and look back at the weekend or the midweek results, because there's some big games, some big results, and then we'll come back to preview this weekend's game. So Stefan, returning guest, Arsenal fan, causes a lot of rumbles in this chat, and one particular rumble came from Darren. He says, I want to be on for the Arsenal and Liverpool podcast, so we thought we'd bring him on tonight. And I mean, Liverpool's form's been brilliant, so Stefan's going to be up against it tonight. But look, we're going to start with you, Stefan. For me, I think it's a must-win clash for Arsenal. If they're going to win the league, that is. I think a draw keeps them in the fight, but it will be a missed opportunity. Liverpool at the minute are on form, flying, had a few injuries, still seem to be getting results, and not just results. They beat Bournemouth 4-0, Chelsea 4-1, so difficult game for Arsenal. But I mean, Arsenal have been playing pretty well since that winter break. They look refreshed. Smash Palace 5-0. Go to Forest, which is a difficult game, and dominant for 90 minutes near enough before the rush at the end. And they've got their sort of forward scoring goals again. Jesus has been scored a goal. Martinelli's been scoring goals. Saka scored a great goal. So the signs are positive as well for Arsenal. So I mean, it's a bumper game to look forward to. Stefan, how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be. Yeah, it's probably the biggest Arsenal Liverpool game, I would say, in years. The last that I remember one was when they thrashed us 4-1 at Anfield. What was it, 10 years ago, when Liverpool, the infamous season where Gerrard slipped. That was probably the last kind of big Arsenal, because that's when both teams were kind of at the top of the table. But no, I completely agree with you, Gareth. Like, a draw isn't the end of the world. We're not out of the title race per se, but the likeliness gets lower. But if we win on Sunday, we generate more momentum. We kind of blow their bubble in a way. Their good form over the past month and a half to almost 2 months now, and we kind of we make a statement in terms of we're still in this. But let's see. Going back to what you said about the Forest game, I agree with you. The Palace game and the Forest game, I thought we played better against Liverpool in the FA Cup and against West Ham, but we didn't score in those games. I don't know how, but at the end of the day, you have to put the ball in net, and that's what makes the difference. We have to be clinical. Liverpool have shown that they have been just remarkably clinical in the last few games. The Bournemouth game is one great example where I thought the 4-0 scoreline was extremely flattering. Just Jota was just lethal. So for me, it's down to, in my opinion, I would say the best defense against probably the most lethal attack. Who's gonna, even though Liverpool have conceded less goals, I don't, if you look at their just the amount of chances they give up, the XG that they've given up compared to Arsenal, I would still put Arsenal's defense over Liverpool.
Arsenal, the least XG conceded, and
Liverpool,
Liverpool, 8, I think.
No, Liverpool have conceded 18 goals and have an XG of 28. So they've underscored the goals. The goals they should have conceded is like 28. So they've been running a little bit on their luck, let's be honest, in terms of the chances that they have conceded. And just going back to the Chelsea game, I'm very intrigued what Darren has to say. I think now it is endless. Since the Spurs game where the ref won the game for Spurs, it is endless now, the amount of times that Liverpool have gotten referee decisions. Chelsea, at 0-0 Conor Gallagher, I'm not saying they would have won because Chelsea are
what, Stefan? Just hold that thought, because we're going to be looking back at the midweek games, but I think that's a good point you make about the Chelsea game in particular. We're just going to set the scene, and we're going to give Darren his view on coming into this. game. Interesting point you make. I did look at that XG concede today, as you right. They point out Liverpool have conceded less goals than Arsenal. XG as expected more.
An XG of 18 and have conceded 21. So so it's the other way for Arsenal.
Darren, how about you? Stefan sort of set his scene on the game on Sunday. We're going to give you the same opportunity before we look back at the midweek results. I mean, I think a lot of the phrases that Stefan's going to use tonight is maybe Liverpool are riding their luck at times. Arsenal have been a bit unlucky in terms of, I think, their last 4 or 5 games. They've conceded a goal from 2 shots on target, which is quite rare. Liverpool had a couple of decisions in the last game go their way, but I mean, a lot of people thought when Salah went out, Liverpool were going to collapse. Trent's been out, but Conor Bradley's come on. Szoboszlai's been missing. McAllister's been out at times. Endo's come on. Liverpool have been doing really well, and their squad's really stepped up when players been missing. So I mean, how are you feeling coming on this Sunday against Arsenal, where a lot of people are saying that Liverpool were fortunate in that FA Cup tie, but I mean, Liverpool have been doing really well this season, so you must be confident.
I am confident. I'm more confident going to this game than I was at the game at Anfield. Where it comes to where it comes to the fact that we're running on luck at the minute. We've only been defeated once this year. How is that lucky? You know what I mean? You can only say maybe 1 or 2 games. The decisions went our way, but then it evens itself up throughout the season. There's been decisions that haven't gone our way, and you're like, what's going on there? So I think I'm more confident now getting into this match on Sunday than I was even in the FA Cup match and when I was at the match at Anfield. Even though we should have beat you at Anfield with a penalty, was that not a bit of luck on your side? Yes. So come on, and you have to admit it was a penalty. So
Stefan, before I bring you back, I'm just going to bring some of the viewers on because there's a lot watching here. Callum saying good evening, lads. Kieran saying good evening. Owen the same. Owen's agreeing with you saying that Liverpool should have a penalty at Anfield with the Odegaard handball. Keelan saying I don't think it's fair to see Liverpool have had referees in their pockets since the Spurs game. Liverpool should be 7 points further ahead than they are, unbeaten. Liverpool lately have been destroying teams hands down. Lads, we're going to have another quick. I'll let you come back on there because I know Darren sort of made a point there, and I don't think Stefan agrees with me. So before we look back at the midweek results, I mean, Stefan, although some stats do prove that maybe Liverpool should have conceded more goals, I get the feeling they definitely had the rubble agreeing with some of the decisions, but they did dominate the game against Chelsea. I mean, they're scoring goals left, right, and centre and missing a lot of players. You have to give them some sort of credit.
Gareth, I gave them credit. I said they're playing well. Darren is making it out to be like I'm saying they're all luck. No, they're not. But in such a Premier League, the fine margins help. I'll give you an example, Darren. Against Fulham at home, at 3-3, there was a clear foul on the Fulham player, and then as a result of that header, Trent scored the winner. Every single game, you get little marginal decisions that have helped you. The Crystal Palace game away, you got marginal decisions there again go in your favor. Ever since the Spurs game, every referee, especially Mr. Paul Tierney, has tried in every single way to help you out just a little bit. I'm not saying that the Martin Odegaard situation was a penalty. I agree it was. But are you saying that you should have beaten us at Anfield when your only chance was a mistake from Arsenal that led you for Trent to hit the post? I'm sorry. I'm not saying that game should have been a draw. It was a fair draw. Both teams didn't do enough to win the game. So it's fine. The FA Cup game, how were you not lucky there?
It was a great away performance, Stefan. It was a great away performance. That's how you rode your luck at Anfield. We rode our luck at the Emirates, and we came away. We came away, and we deserved the one because we took our chances. You never took your chances. What do you want? What do you want?
I'm not saying that you didn't deserve. You scored more goals. Obviously, you won. But if you're saying you weren't
Your
lucky
XG can
against
keep your
Arsenal,
XG. It's all about the scoreline, big man.
okay, no, but you know, Darren, if you play that game again at Emirates, Arsenal are winning, huh? We're not gonna miss the same amount of
Hey,
chances.
that's all right.
Okay.
Sure, here. No, I don't. We didn't have our best defender playing against us. He still couldn't score. Joey Gomez was man of match. Unreal. Conor Bradley came on and put Martinelli in his back pocket. He still has him in his back pocket. He might let him out on Sunday.
Hey, the comments are flying on, lads. The comments are flying on here.
This is fine, Garrett. This is what Liverpool fans do. They have one youth player, a la Flanagan 10 years ago, where he has like 3 or 4 good games and suddenly he's the next Cafu. The guy came on for the last 10 minutes against Martinelli, played well, and he kept him quiet. Whilst Darren forgets the first kind of 60 minutes where Arsenal had 15 shots. They hit the post. They had like, it should have been 3-4-0.
Trent hit the post too. Hit the crossbar, actually.
Oh, yes. At the end of the first half, after Arsenal had missed like 12 or 13 shots.
Doesn't matter. You can take the many chances you want. See if you don't put them in the back of net.
We're going to come back to Arsenal. We're going to come back to Arsenal Liverpool, and we will reflect on that FA Cup game and the game at Anfield, because they were only a short time ago. A lot of comments coming in. Look, I did tell people this was going to be fun, and it has only just begun. I'm telling you, these two boys aren't going to give each other an inch tonight, and why should they? With so much on the line on Sunday. I think I definitely picked the two best people for this. But look, let's look back at the midweek games, because as much as we all love the FA Cup, and the stories it's created, the likes of Maidstone going to Ipswich and winning,
Brilliant.
The Premier League does give you something else, and we did see it during the week. So many great games between Tuesday, Wednesday, and even last night. I mean, I was absolutely knackered. I was at the Spurs Stadium on Wednesday night, and I was knackered traveling on a must-have 4-3 game last night. But that just shows you the Premier League's entertainment's just, it can't be compared to anything else. But look, let's start with a big story of the weekend, and it wasn't Arsenal. It was probably midweek. It probably was Liverpool's, because everyone was saying that this could be a game that could cause Liverpool some problems, with Chelsea's form being a lot better. But Liverpool quickly put the game to bed. Darren, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to ask you about Conor Bradley, Liverpool's form, and then we're going to ask Stefan maybe his thoughts on the game, but also them refereeing decisions, because although it was a convincing one for Liverpool, in my opinion, Chelsea should have 2 penalties. But look, let's focus on this man first, Darren, because he is creating a lot of stories, especially over here in Ireland. Conor Bradley from Dungannon, only just an hour and a bit up the road from ourselves here in Derry. I mean, how well has he done that we're having a conversation about Trent maybe even not playing on Sunday now that he's fit again? And the way Liverpool sweep Bournemouth aside in the second half, sweep Chelsea aside, are they entering the title one on form that got them so close to Man City in 2 separate seasons, where they basically won nearly every game they had to the end of the season? The only problem they have is Man City did the exact same thing and won by a point. What's your thoughts on Conor Bradley and Liverpool's form at the minute?
Conor Bradley's playing with no fear. That's how he's nothing to lose. He's only a young fella coming on the game. He's only really started the last 4 games. He's coming in. He's no fear, and that's what's helping him. It doesn't matter who he's up against. He just doesn't care, and not change his game. You know what I mean? I think he's, as I was chatting to yourself, Gareth, yesterday about it. It's hard to even think about me, Klopp, thinking, how am I going to get Trent on the side at the minute? You know what I mean? Where's he going to play? Because Conor Bradley's playing so well. Scoring goals, creating goals. Well, I mean, you know what I mean? He's more assists than Martinelli.
You know what? I agree with Darren. Play Trent in midfield, please. I really hope he plays him.
Man can play anywhere. He's that good.
But anyway, he's only the second fullback in Premier League history. They have 3 goal scoring contributions. So he scored 1 and set up 2 against Chelsea. The only other player to do that was Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, and so already people drawing comparisons. Stefan, I'm going to come to you in 1 wee second. But just talk to me now, Darren, on Liverpool's form, because over Christmas, really since that, and you could say that was a decent draw at home to Arsenal. Really, since they had that scoreless draw against Man United, they've been excellent, scoring a lot of goals. And everyone highlighted before the Arsenal game, 2 Duffield games, going to Bournemouth, who were playing very well, and playing Chelsea at home. who had turned a bit of a corner without so many players unavailable, and they've swept both teams aside. I mean, are you starting to get the feel that this could be, Liverpool's time?
I'm getting that feeling that I had whenever we went on to win the league. You know what I mean? I'm getting that. I'm getting like that's what it is. There's no fear about going to the Emirates on Sunday. Arsenal's a good side. They are a good side, but why can't we? Why can't we go to Emirates and not fear what Arsenal have? No, we were just as good, if not better. At the minute, you have to say, Stefan, we're a better side at the minute. You know what I mean? So why can't no? So I'm getting the feeling that this could we could do it this year, and every single competition we're on, I think we've a good chance of lifting all of them. I really do. I've got that feeling again. Before Christmas, it was, you know what? If we finish in the top 3, we'll be happy. But see now, since Salah's went, no Salah, best player we have, gone, and he's not going to be back for 4 weeks. And you know what? It doesn't bother me because everybody else is playing so well.
Owen's saying having Trent and Bradley is a great problem to have. Kieran saying I've said from day one Liverpool will win it. Stefan, let's bring you in, and we will come to talk about Arsenal in the next point. But just on Liverpool, I mean, that game the other night, Liverpool were very, very good, but the key decisions, as you said, did go their way. I mean, do you think if them decisions had went Chelsea's way, it would have been any other outcome? Because they did still score 4 goals. And as people keep pointing out, he hasn't scored a lot of goals, Darwin, in his, but I mean he's coming pretty close. He hit the bar 4 times.
Look, I still say that even if the penalty was given, I do expect Liverpool would have probably won the game. I'm just saying that these type of key moments now, over the period of, I would say, 2 months since the Spurs game, I forgot the Man City game and 1-1. Where they give an absolute joke of a foul on Alisson, the world's softest foul ever. That should have been, again, where they rode their luck the whole game. Man City were by far the better team. I mean, I can't believe Darren is shaking his head. If you say you deserve to get a draw against
even
Man
the
City,
throughout the season, you could get 5 or 6 decisions for you, and then the next 5 or 6 will go against you. It evens itself out.
Okay. Tell me one game that Arsenal, where I've named you 5 or 6 games where you have rode your luck. Tell me 5 or 6 games where Arsenal have rode their luck and lost the game, as in terms of won or drew the game and not lost the game. Anfield, where we both had the same amount of shots. We both had the same amount of shots. We both had pretty much the same XG.
Stefan,
created nothing. We both created pretty much nothing the whole game.
Stefan, I'm not that obsessed with Arsenal that I'm counting decisions going for these and against these. I watch my own team. Yes, I'll watch Arsenal game, but I'm not going to be standing going, that's another one that Arsenal got. Oh, that's another one. I actually don't care. I'm not that obsessed. I'm more worried about our team. I'm more worried about Liverpool. You know what I mean? You keep counting and let me know.
No, Darren, it's easy. It's easy to deflect and to say I don't care about
Arsenal. That's just it's the truth. I'm not that bothered about it. To be fair,
okay. Well,
see what I say something the left hand corner. What the scoreline is. That's all I care about.
Okay, no.
James is asking a question, Stefan. He's saying if Arsenal are a better team than us, why are they not?
I didn't say they are. I didn't say that was not the topic. Liverpool are currently a better team than Arsenal because they're 5 points ahead. What I'm saying is that Liverpool fans have to accept they have been getting the rub of the green when it comes to the decisions over the last few games. You can moan about the Arsenal game. I can name you numerous other games where you have gotten the rub of the green completely. And Darren can say, it doesn't matter. It's all about the scoreline. No, that's bullshit. And he knows that.
Jesus. No, it's not all about the scoreline. You're mental.
No.
That's how you won games, the scoreline. Okay. Scoring goals on what you haven't been doing the last couple of weeks, but that's how you won games. Score goals, you know what I mean, and not concede.
Okay.
So whatever happens with the referee in the middle of the park doesn't matter. You play well, you won the game. Simple as that.
Okay, Darren. So you're telling me if Chelsea were given a penalty, that game would have gone exactly the same way as it went yesterday. You're telling me if Man City had been given the clear goal that it was, the softest VAR decision where they called a foul on Alisson, Liverpool would have come back and drew 2-2 at the Etihad. Is that
you
what
don't
you're
know?
telling me?
Yeah, I haven't got a crystal ball. They say that. I don't know.
No,
you never know. They could have.
But then don't say it has no effect on the scoreline or no Oh, I don't care about that because it's massive. It's a massive decision that affects every time. Like, I'm not saying the ref has gotten you to first. I'm saying that I think your form, although has been really good, you have been riding your luck in a number of games where I don't think you're as good as the table puts you as.
But
That's my opinion. I don't
Oh.
think defensively. I think.
But that's what you have to do.
No, you
You have to
laugh.
ride your luck.
No,
Any professional footballer will tell you, you need to ride your luck. They won matches or they won the league. You need to have that wee bit of luck at times as well. And Liverpool have having it this year, and that's why I think that this year is going to be our year. I do.
I just think, I don't know. I
Let's
always say
focus
this.
on
Yeah.
let's focus on Arsenal's midweek results. We'll come back. They
Okay.
talk Arsenal Liverpool very shortly.
Can I say so? Arsenal were brilliant on Tuesday night. They were absolutely brilliant on Tuesday night.
Okay. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
I think they were very good on the dominating, which is a common theme with Arsenal. They tend to dominate a lot of teams where they don't get much of the ball. I think Arsenal had 81% of the ball first half, but didn't have a shot on target, which was the big worry. I mean,
Gareth, Darren, they didn't try and play, man. They just went and just put a low block. They didn't even try and play. I think they had up until the 60th to the I think it was like the 65th minute. They had two touches in our box. Like,
I think in the first
even,
half,
don't get me wrong. Do I think Arsenal managed the game all and stopped them from counterattacking where they're super dangerous? Yes, but they really didn't. They really weren't a good kind of standard bearer for what Arsenal. I thought Arsenal in the first half were a bit too slow and too kind of safe with their passing. We needed to be a little. And then in the second half, I thought we turned it on a bit more with our passing, with our combinations. Jesus hit the post. Odegaard should have had an assist, but then he scored. I would say a fortunate goal because Matt Turner has been awful at Forest.
Say that again. Say it again.
Yeah,
Fortunate.
sorry.
Fortunate goal.
Yeah, fortunate.
They're not on there 2 feet.
Okay, okay, but it was the goal.
He's just playing devil's advocate.
No, it's not devil's advocate. It's yes, but the ref didn't help us or influence the game to allow us to actually score that goal, Darren. That's my point.
Stefan, there's a good comment on the screen here. Kieran saying Arsenal frustrate him, taking too many touches around the box instead of taking a shot. I mean, is that a worry that you're dominating? Like, I mean, there's dominating and then there's complete. I mean, that first 45 minutes, I think Forest had one pass in their final third, which is complete domination. I mean, they not have a shot on target in that first half, and as you say, a goalkeeping error to get the first goal that then opens it up.
Criminal.
And then they had two shots. They had two shots on target, and the shot that they had, the ball looped up, hit Aoni off his Achilles. He had no idea where the ball was. It perfectly set up for him to finish. And they scored a goal from two shots on target. So,
but I know the goal was conceded, but should a team have an 81% of ball, not be hitting a team for 4 or 5 goals?
I mean, it depends. Like, you're not beating Nottingham Forest away, but I honestly don't remember the last time a team beat Nottingham like 3-4-0 at Forest. Like, I think last season Liverpool lost there if I'm not mistaken. Man City drew. We lost there. It's not an easy place to go, Darren.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100%.
It's really a tough place. The crowd gets behind them. They're super dangerous on the counterattack. We were fortunate because they were severely weakened. I would say they're the team that's the most weakened by AFCON. They had I think 6 players missing. They had probably their most informed attacker. He was kind of injured. I think he was on the bench, but he came on late in Elanga. So we did have a lot of things roll our way in terms of the game. But yeah, I agree. We managed the game really well. I was happy to see Smith Rowe back playing well, like the old Smith Rowe that I remember from 2 years ago, transitioning the play, moving quickly between the lines. I'll be intrigued to see who starts against Liverpool. I think Havertz will start personally, but I'm happy. But again, we just need to be more clinical. Like, Liverpool against Bournemouth, for example. That game was super tight. Liverpool had 2 transitions, boom, goals, both of them, and the game was over. And then they piled on and scored another 2. So I just want us to be more clinical, like Liverpool and Man City. I just don't know whether we have.
Stefan, your style will be similar to Man City's, right? Quite a lot of the focused on dominating the ball, really minimizing counterattacks up against Liverpool's kind of rock and roll style, where it's back to front as quick as we can, balls on behind, really, really aggressive press from the front. As an Arsenal fan, right, you are going down the more Man City route. Which would you prefer as a fan? Would you like to see the Man City? I know, and I don't want to. The results will tell you Man City, but Liverpool have done a pretty good job in matching them. And it's very hard to create a Man City because of the players they have, the money they spent. But just in terms of only focus on the styles, as a fan, what would you rather see? That kind of rock and roll entertainment factor, or the kind of the more side of dominating, but maybe not as good to watch?
From a tactical perspective, I prefer the Man City one. The Liverpool system is much more fun to watch, but Liverpool system is prone to give away. Even the great Liverpool sides, they would still concede chances. I would say more than Man City. Don't get me wrong, like the old Liverpool teams when with Van Dijk at his prime, and you had Wijnaldum and Firmino and Mane and stuff, they were amazing to watch. But I just think Man City style, I think, is more sustainable over a long run. Also, from a physical perspective, controlling the ball for most of the game, making the other team do the running, I think is much more, I would say, it's much more suitable for the players over the long run. Like the Liverpool style, which is a bit more chaotic, a bit more basketballish, up and down, I think is more prone to injuries. If you look at Man City's recent injury record over the last 2 years. So I would probably say the Man City one, but as a fan, as watching wise, no, I would say the Liverpool one is much more entertaining to watch. And that's what Arteta is trying to create. He's trying to create a system in which you pretty much dominate the ball. You tire out the team by like the 60th minute because all they're doing is chasing the ball and not getting. And then when they do get the ball, they have like maybe 2 or 3 passes and we immediately get it back, which we have been off the ball. We've been really good. The problem is that the only difference is that Man City have Haaland and Man City have, a
De Bruyne.
Stefan, take you a breather for a couple months. I want to let Darren come on here. Darren, your thoughts on Arsenal's one? I know you said you were impressed with them on Tuesday, but I mean, the fact that Stefan did allude to, Arsenal can dominate teams like they did against Forest and go on 0-0 at half time. Dominate Liverpool in the FA Cup game, go on at half time 0-0. Liverpool dominant teams, they tend to score goals, and that's a big difference between the two teams at the minute. So would you be overly concerned if Arsenal have 70-80% of the ball? If you're not putting the ball in the back of the net, you always feel Liverpool have goals in them. So I mean, what's your feelings on Arsenal at the minute?
Oh, I actually say, Stefan, they're a good side. They're a really good side, and they are going down as you said, they are going down the route of the Man City style of football. But I just don't think they have the players to do that yet. You know what I mean? There's only certain players that can. There's only certain players out there that can play that kind of football, and Man City have them all. You know what I mean? And Arsenal are going down that route, but there's no plan B with Arsenal. It's just they they keep doing the same thing over and over again, and they go to the byline, cross it on, and hope for somebody's on the 6-yard box for a goal. Exact same as Man City. Now, I watched the Man City match in last week. Were they playing Burnley or something?
Burnley.
I fell asleep because it was just the exact same thing over and over and over again. You know what I mean?
Stefan, just hold your thought when you read this, because I want to ask Darren this and I'll let you come back on. But Callum, your best friend's commenting here saying that Arsenal are the most boring team to watch and nearly fell asleep on Tuesday night. As long as we don't lose on Sunday, I can't lose us in our game. And Callum, to be balanced, to saying Arsenal were electric to watch last season. So Arsenal have kind of changed their style. It was kind of aligned more to Liverpool last year, and they're aligning themselves more to Man City this year. I mean, would you be more feared if it was the Arsenal of last season you're playing, where they were quite electric and scoring a lot of goals, as opposed to this?
Absolutely. They tore us a new one at the Emirates last year. They were unrated. We couldn't get near them. And we had a full strength team on, and we couldn't get near them. And they were brilliant to watch. And they were just, every time they went forward, they looked like they're going to score. I had to turn it off at half time and go for it and go take a walk and come back. I was like, what's going on here? And I know, but this year,
we'll just bring you back on. Before we move on, and we're going to come back to Arsenal Liverpool. What's your thoughts on that? Because there's from Callum, I know he's made a point there about them being a bit boring, But I think he's trying to when he brings in that second comment that they were good to watch last season. I don't think he's using that as a dig. And when I watch Arsenal, when I watch Arsenal, like I watched them in the first half, and I never got the impression after the first 10 minutes they were going to score. Because it was just getting passed around quite a lot, not a lot of shots, and I don't think it was down to them, not creating. There was moments to shoot, and they chose to pass. So it wasn't the fact that they weren't in shooting areas. Last season Odegaard was scoring a lot of goals from outside the box. He doesn't shoot as much, so I can only think that's coming from Arteta. The instructions. So I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
I agree, Gareth, but here's the thing. I think it's a bit of a narrow-minded kind of. Because last season, nobody took us as seriously as we are now. Man City came to the Emirates and played defensive. They didn't try and come on to us like they do normally. You had teams like even Liverpool. They didn't play defensive against us. They had a super high line. That's why we dominated. And Darren is missing one key player why we dominated them so much at the Emirates last year. It was Partey. Partey was insane in that game. I remember that. Partey just
it was absolutely
Interestingly, will not be fit for this weekend when it looked like he was going to be. Another setback. I mean, Stefan is worrying. Another setback's not good news.
Supposedly, thankfully, it's a minor one. So Arteta said days, if maximum would be maybe a few weeks. So it's a very minor kind of a small injury. So let's hope.
And the problem with this is we've heard this before, and it's took
long.
I'm not sure what's happening with him, but
he needs to
seems to be the physios can't nail what's actually wrong with him.
I love him as a player. He needs to be sold in the summer. Like he's too. You cannot have such an injury-prone player. I mean, they have a similar player in Thiago, who's a very talented, super good player, but he's been injured, Thiago, now for over a year consistently. So with Partey, I love him. I think he's on his day. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, midfielder in the league. I put my opinion of it. I would put him over Rodri. In terms of because I've watched.
Ooh, big call. Hey,
it's not. No, it's not my. Yeah, must do the same train, but it's not my. But Darren, it's not my. Look, when people call me out on that, it's not my opinion. Ask Diego Simeone. He played Partey over Rodri. So there must be
more
there
comments
must be
before
a
we move
reason.
on, lads. Martin saying can't see Liverpool not catching Arsenal on the counter attack on
true.
Sunday. But you can't write off Arsenal. They have beaten Man City this season. Personally, I can't wait for the game.
It's going to be.
One of Arsenal fans turned on the James is saying, I think it's time for a new Arsenal manager. Arteta's run out of ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, lads, so much.
He'll just phone Guardiola. He'll just phone Guardiola. What do I do here, big man? He'll just phone Daddy. What do I do here, Daddy?
Wait, Darren. What are you guys gonna do now? No more Klopp? Ooh.
We'll talk about that later.
Because we're going to take a short break, Stefan.
No.
Sorry, we're going to take a short break and look back at some of the other midweek games before we come back to preview Arsenal Liverpool at the weekend. And honestly, so many watching, so many commenting. I think we could turn the Sunday Talk Sport phone on tonight because I think everyone's having their say. Let's look back at last night's game. Now, I didn't see it. I had to watch the highlights because I was shattered and fell asleep, and I couldn't believe it. I woke up after it and seen the score was 4-3. I wasn't expecting that type of game, but
it was a crazy game.
The winner was special. I mean, the way
brilliant.
I mean, Darren, I know you're a Liverpool man, but hard to criticize what's great in the game, and that was a moment of magic. The way he wriggled through the little nutmeg and the finish in the corner, and we're talking the 97th, 98th minute here. Just after they've conceded an equalizer. So I mean, are you starting to get the feeling that some players return from injury? Haaland's sort of scored a few goals. I know they've had some favourable games against Wigan and Newport, but they haven't lost for a few games now, and the goals are starting to return. 2 against Spurs, 4 against Newport, 4 against Wolves. And Wolves have beaten Man City at home, Spurs at home, Chelsea at home, so it's been a tough place to go, and they've went there and won 4-3. So are the signs that United are starting to maybe hit their best form of the season?
They are. Last night, the first half hour, Wolves never put a glove on them. Not once. They were, and in fact, even with the whole debacle with Rashford, he was brilliant last night. It was really, really good. And Haaland, he's very raw, really, really raw. He run for you all day. That's what I like about him. But I do see United. No, lit charge maybe for 4th. Maybe they do look organised as well. They're pressing all together as a one unit where they weren't doing that before. and they're doing like I seen last night the first half that they smothered Wolves in their own half. Wolves, like, they play out from a back like most teams, and they couldn't get up a pitch because United were just smothering them, and they were really, United looked on it last night. But then you have to feel, on the other hand, they just shit the bed. They did.
We're going to touch on these teams very, very. We're not going to spend too much on this because I really want to get back to the main talking points about Arsenal and Liverpool. So I just touch on it because we do have some of our fans watching from our team. So, I mean, Owen says no chance they'll get fourth here. I mean, what do you think? Because they're 8 points behind Spurs and Villa. We have a worse goal difference, so near enough 9 points if you think about it. They near enough need to be perfect. I mean, do you see them putting together a lit run for that top four?
I completely agree with Darren with the first half, but I could make the counter argument that Wolves were not very good. I don't know if that was Man United playing very well, but Wolves also were making really just their goal. I mean, I really don't rate their goalie. Like, he just consistently makes stupid mistakes, like just puts his team in bad situations. But I didn't think Wolves had the best half, but it was just typical Man United. It was moments FC. Rashford scored a really nice goal, and then pretty much after the first half did absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. I just thought the way it happened, I mean, to concede 3 goals against the Wolves team, and and then again, they're a moments team. They rely on moments of brilliance. Last year, they relied on moments of brilliance from Rashford to get them through, not particularly as to why they're actually playing well. And yesterday, I mean, they got a win against MAINOO. It was deserved over the course of the game. But, Man United, they're going to hype themselves up. They're going to say Kobe MAINOO is the next reincarnation of Paul Scholes. The articles are going to be They always do that. They always do that, the Man United fans, okay? Kobe MAINOO is the best. Like, I watched some United streams, and they're like, Kobe MAINOO needs to start with Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham in midfield for England. He has to, after 2 good games. Okay, relax. Watch him now against West. Yeah,
the goal he scored last night was the same goal. It was the start of same goal as Martial scored against Liverpool whenever it was brilliant.
It'll be interesting to watch MAINOO's development between now and the summer for sure.
I'm not very optimistic, guys. With that dressing room, with that toxic, absolute soft culture that they have built in their dressing room. I'll give you one example.
You have the cheek to talk about teams hyping them up. You've been talking like Arsenal have been prime Barca all season.
I don't been talking like Arsenal have been prime Barca. How? I just said we're bored. Like, we're not playing well. We're not scoring. How? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are people listening?
Let's move on. I was at this game on Wednesday night. Spurs beat Brentford 3-2. But I'll tell you what, I had to check if it was a football match or a darts match because there was more darts than there was the LA Valley at Christmas.
There was darts.
First off, I mean, I was behind the net where Brentford were playing were kicking towards first half and then Spurs second half. So it was right there. I was five rows from the front. Mopai's doing darts celebrations, and then Madison's had a go at him. And then all this was captained during the match. A lot of stoppages and every time there was a foul, it seemed to be 5 or 6 players were charging on. The referee had a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. That wasn't the easiest game to officiate. Then Spurs get 1-1, and they're all doing dart celebrations. Johnson comes on, has been poor for a number of weeks, and he's running around doing dart celebrations.
He scored
and then I think Richarlison scores, and then he goes into this one. And then at the end, it was this social media debate between, I think, Madison said Mopai hasn't scored enough goals to be celebrating, basically having his own celebration, and then he says, well, I've never been relegated, and you have. So it went on and on and on. But I mean, the one takeaway, and I think Ange said this in his press conference, Darren, why are Spurs getting involved in this nonsense? I mean, they made that more difficult than it should have been. We've seen this a number of times against Chelsea where they self-destruct and get players sent off. Although they've had injuries, we've had a number of players missing through suspensions, too many yellow cards. And, let's be honest, Brentford frustrated Spurs and made it difficult for them when, in the end, Spurs was doing this to themselves instead of, just focusing on playing football, which Ange just said they're not doing enough of. Scored 3 goals in 7 minutes, and they could have made it more comfortable. So, I mean, do you think that this Spurs team, I know they're young, but they're too emotional? Just get on with the game, play football.
They're letting emotions get them on the pitch. No, it's experience, Gareth. They've won. I think they've got one experienced player amongst them all that's been in the Premier League more than 3 years. Hallberg, And Richarlison, he just plays on emotion anyway. He's an emotional player, so you have to just play. That's his way of playing. But everybody else should have, like, you're missing Son. He would probably keep them all their heads all together. But at the minute, there's too many young boys come onto that team, and they're just letting their heads rule they're letting their heart rule their heads. If you know what I mean. And they're not thinking before they're doing. If you know what I mean. And but
Stephen,
it's great to watch. These are a different team.
No,
these
that's
are
good
a
to watch.
far different team.
Stefan, I'm going to bring you in 1 second. Just that you mentioned Son. Son did score a free kick tonight. They send South Korea to the semi-finals, so he will not be back. And they have actually got a favourable, favourable semi-final draw against Jordan because they beat Saudi Arabia and now Australia, two of the better teams. They should
keep them away for as long as possible.
Yes.
Likely to play Tommy Asu's Japan in the final, I would imagine. Which would be
Endo's as well. Endo.
Japan guys.
Like Endo.
Japan's saying you need more back and forth like that. The fans love it. Yes, the fans might enjoy it, and it was great for us, but it really took away from the actual football. It was good to watch all the fans getting involved, but I think it suited Brentford more than it suited Spurs in this game. Keelan saying somebody needs humbling. Jota will do it this weekend. We'll come back to that, Keelan. Stefan, thoughts on that game? I mean, why are Spurs players getting involved in all this nonsense?
Look, I agree. I agree about the Spurs. You know, the Chelsea game is a great example of how you got really, really into it. The Everton game also, I remember there were times where you kind of lost your head. I have noticed this. This is, you know, there's only one person you can blame here, because last year when they were saying that the Arsenal players got too involved with the ref, they were complaining, they were hyped, they were kind of a reflection of their coach. So this must be, a reflection of maybe he hypes them up too much. Maybe they're too motivated and they can't.
I get that. There is similarities in terms of the high risk football and kind of like Liverpool, but Ange is a very chilled, composed person on the touchline compared to like a Klopp or an Arteta. Ange just sort of stands with his hands in his pocket, and he said after the game that this was annoying him. It's happened a number of occasions, so it's hard to put your finger on it.
Let me just make two major points. I wouldn't say you guys turned it on and won. I would say Brentford, for some reason, turned suicidal for 10 minutes. They played in the first half with a super deep defensive line. It was extremely effective, and they were playing you on the counter, and you were leaving so much space. They should have been, you can argue, 2-0, 3-0 up. The positions they got into and the chances they had, they could have easily scored more goals. And then for some reason, in the first 10 minutes of the second half, they give Spurs not like
a halftime, double halftimes.
No, but go watch the game. For some reason, in the second half, in the first 10 minutes, they play with a super high defensive line and give two players that the only thing they can do is run into space, and that's Johnson and Werner. That's it. If you take away the space for them to run, they are useless. Let's be honest. They're not effective. They don't do it. They can't do anything.
Werner, to be fair, was outstanding in that second half.
Yeah, he was outstanding because they gave him space. It wasn't because he's actually like a good, in the first half he didn't do anything because they closed the lines. They played deep with a low defensive block, and they completely nullified you. And for some reason, but then again, the second thing I'm going to ask you, Gareth. So I wrote it on my phone. I want your views because you're a Spurs.
Stefan.
Yeah, no, exactly. Stats DNA, guys. So against Bournemouth, you conceded 24 shots. Against Everton, you conceded 24 shots and an XG of 1.8. Against Everton, you conceded 18 shots and an XG of over 2. Against Brighton, you lost. Obviously, you conceded over 30 shots in that game. Okay. Against Man City, we can skip that one. You have conceded against Nottingham. Although you got the red card, you still conceded 15 shots in that game. Like, are you not even that game, the Brentford game, you conceded an XG, although they conceded 9 shots, both of you had 5 shots on target, and they had an XG of 2.
Spurs had an XG of 3.
Yeah, you guys had an XG of 3, of course. But what I'm saying is, are you not worried of how the system is so open, Gareth? It's the first 20 minutes against Brentford, the amount of space that Brentford had on Udogi's side. You could have parked a jumbo jet on the left side.
Doggy had a bit of a mixed game. He gave away 2 goals and scored one and set up an all one.
the system though, like, do you not see the open space? Like even
There,
even
there,
the
there
goal.
is there is flaws. There is flaws. That I agree. But if you look at Liverpool's early years, they got better at it with more quality, more training time with the manager, because it's such a change. If you think about how Conte and Mourinho played to how this Spurs team, it couldn't be farther apart. It's going to take more time.
This is
And the
as
more
bad
time,
none time. If
it
he's
is.
bad none time, Gareth.
But if you look at it, the signs are positive. They're scoring a
Hmm.
lot of goals. If you're having to score 3 or 4 goals in a game, they beat Spurs now at the minute. That's the way they're playing. They're scoring, they're creating a lot of chances. And you have to think of when Son comes back, they'll look more dangerous. So I agree. It's not going to win you Premier League, but it's definitely enough to get you top 4 this season.
No, I agree, Gareth. I agree, but I just think, and I read about Ange's record in Europe, and everybody says it's Celtic. They're crap. It's in the chat. Go read his record in Europa League. This type of football.
But Celtic and Rangers don't have a great. I know Rangers have done well.
Celtic should be at least in the Europa League group stages. Come on, they're not that bad. They're really.
I know, but he had one season at Celtic, and that was it.
Okay, I'm saying this type of football. I've told you this before. Over 3 days is not sustainable. This type of chaotic, end-to-end, non-stop football is crazy. So
it's working at the moment now. Spurs show too much emotions. They're a young team. It's getting under their heads. Stuff like that has been happening. Dynasty and stuff like that been happening in every league. And Callum says your team is full of idiots. Romero, Basuma, Udogie, Richarlison.
That's a bit harsh.
One more team we're going to touch on before we come back to the big weekend's game. And that's Man City, of course, which is very relevant. The Arsenal Liverpool. De Bruyne and Haaland back. De Bruyne's been back. It was his first start. Haaland come off the bench. Actually made a mess of one of his chances. Maybe a bit rusty, but that won't continue. Very comfortable one against Burnley, and they've got some very comfortable fixtures looking lads coming up. If you look at it, I think they played Brentford twice, Everton at home on their games. You expect them to take maximum points. And I mean, Darren, let's come to you first. How concerning is it that Man City, we talked about Liverpool's form, but Man City look to be hitting that part of the season where you're looking at games and going 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. And that is a worry because they've got history doing this.
Yeah, they're the only team in that league can go on a run of 14, 15 league games, one streak, no problem. They've done it every year. The only team that'll do it, because Liverpool have lost like once so far this season, but I can't see them going the rest of the season with that stat, just one league loss. That's not going to happen. Like, but Man City can do that. They're the only team in the league can do that. They're the players that can do it, and it's concerning to me. But I still think that we're going to be there at the end of the season. I really do. I just think it's going to come down to the game at Anfield.
March. Stefan, how about you? I mean, from the Arsenal point of view, you not just have to shake off Liverpool this weekend and obviously be and the running, but you've also got Man City, and this is unique because sort of over the last 4 or 5 years, it's only been Man City Liverpool on it, and the last season it was only Man City Arsenal. This season it's been the first time for a long time in the Premier League we've got 3 teams with only a chance of winning the league come February. So I mean, Stefan, how difficult does that make? Not only did you shake off this Liverpool team, you're looking strong, but you also have the irresistible Man City as well.
I mean, it's just, again, it's kind of like the argument with Liverpool. They've just been so unlucky that they've had to compete with Man City over their best period since maybe in like 20, 30 years. So it's just they're so good. They're so good that they're just so boring, as what Darren said. It's so robotic. It's like they're gonna go on the last 12 games, they're gonna win 9 or 10 in a row, and they're gonna do it. They just have that in them. They have all their best players back. De Bruyne, you saw the guy was out for 4 or 5 months, comes into one of the most difficult away grounds. Yes, I get it. They've been in terrible form, but still, St. James Park, they were losing. He comes on, scores a goal, and then assists for another one. Like, that's just that you cannot. No matter what people say, you cannot replace that type of quality. That is one of the best midfielders that has ever played in the Premier League. No matter how good you buy, no matter how good your recruitment is, you're not replacing or finding a replacement for De Bruyne. The same with Haaland. You're not going to find a better striker. No matter how good Alvarez is, Haaland is just another level. So you just have to deal with it and compete. And, you have to spend money. Arsenal have to, They have to recruit more, and I think that is the major difference, I would say, this season between Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. And is that if you look at the amount of money that Arsenal has spent on their forward line compared to especially Liverpool and Man City, it's nowhere near. So that is where I think Arsenal, if they want to improve, if we fail this year to win the league and fall behind, that is where we need to address, I would say, our shortcomings. So yeah, I completely just, it's boring, Gary. I don't want to talk about Man City. It's boring.
Well, we're going to talk about Arsenal Liverpool again, so don't be too despondent. Few comments here we're going to do before we get back into the preview. Callum believes it'll fun out the Liverpool City towards the end, and if we avoid defeat on Sunday, he can only see that one game being their only loss. Dylan's asking, if Liverpool were to won 13 games, that's 39 points. They're on 51 now. Would that be enough? I think that would take them to 90. I think that would be the minimum. I think we were actually talking about this before Christmas, that you might want it with 86, 87. I think the form of Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal now as well have had you think about Arsenal had a big test against Palace and Forest. They had to take 6 points, really. They come into this game with a chance. That is difficult to do. What's that?
A big test? Come on.
Well, it's a big test when the pressure's on. No, when the pressure's on and you have to win games.
Pressure was on, yeah.
I mean, if Liverpool, if Arsenal had lost to Forest the other night, this podcast would have been worthless they're out. They're not on a chance, in my opinion. They had to win them games to stay in there, so Arsenal should be given credit for going and winning them games, because it isn't easy, especially the fact that they had that bit of a dip in form. So I mean, they're buying in there. I do think 90. You're going to be hefty looking at 90 points. They won it. And if Liverpool were to won 13 out of 16, I'm not sure that would be enough. They probably have to won 14, maybe.
I mean, Man City won last year with 87 points. I think it was.
Bad league last year.
No, it was 90 points and 84 for Arsenal.
Was it 90? Are you sure? Yeah, wasn't it 87?
90 and Arsenal lost the league by 6 points. Arsenal at 84 and Man City at 90.
Yeah, well, I would say between the 87 to the 90 point mark, I would say is what is needed. I don't think I told you I don't think City, even though they're City, I don't think they're as good as last season because of the players that they have lost. You just can't replace some of these, but you just can't, based on experience, quality, everything. So I don't think they're going to be as good. I also think Liverpool, as you know, every club goes through a bad spell. Arsenal went through that bad spell in December, 1 win in 7. Man City lost 3 games in 4 in October, I think, or November. So Man City and Arsenal have gone through their bad spell. Liverpool still haven't, and they will. Like every good team goes through one bad spell every season. So
Dennis, great to see you watching the podcast tonight. You once told me you don't do podcasts, so great to see you on. Liverpool crowd will play a big part in the league this season. Anfield was rocking more than ever. He was at the game, yes, on Wednesday night against Chelsea. It's the best atmosphere he's seen in years. I can see that being a major factor when they play Man City at home in March. Lads, let's focus on this Sunday's game, the game that everybody's looking forward to, not just Arsenal and Liverpool fans, but Premier League fans as well. It's rare you see a game with so much riding on it. Probably has more riding on it for Arsenal because 5 points behind, but it's still a big game for Liverpool because momentum's massive, and they could also possibly make it a 2-horse race and knock off one of the teams that they're competing with should they go and win. Stefan, let's start with you. I mean, if Arsenal don't win on Sunday, does it become a 2-horse race?
I would change that to if Arsenal lose. I don't think
he needs 3 points, Stefan. He needs 3 points.
We've talked about 90 odd points
I
here.
think it's look. I agree. The likeliness of an Arsenal kind of title challenge is much lower if we draw, if we don't win. However, it's still only 5 points. All it takes is one bad patch from Liverpool and one good run from Arsenal to because Arsenal, if you remember 2 months ago, were 5 or 6 points ahead of Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken. They had their bad patch. Liverpool took advantage, and they got to, and now they're 5 points ahead. So I wouldn't say it's over, but
so sorry, if the game finishes a draw on Sunday, for example, you'll still believe they could still win it.
Maybe you're right.
I don't think he believes we're going to win it now.
We need to win. We need to win. No, we believe. We're Liverpool's belief in them winning a league title when they've won it once in 30 years. I don't know where this confidence comes from, but Okay.
Just check the history of the last 6 or 7 years. That's where the confidence comes from, big man.
Stefan, I'll tell you what, if you're not nervous,
I've seen the history of the last 7 years. Man City have won 90% of the time, and you have won
Stefan, I'll
one.
tell you what, if you're not nervous, your cat is extremely nervous about this game on Sunday because it's open about all.
You should put him in nets instead of Ramsdale or Rea. He looks a better keeper.
Okay, well, let's see. I would be concerned about your midfield. That's what I would.
Well,
really small.
We'll do that. We'll come back and
we'll
look at the teams and where the games we won and lost towards the end. But Darren, for you, I mean, if Liverpool were to draw this game on Sunday, would you see it as Arsenal being effectively out of it? Do you think Arsenal have to win to stay in it?
Yep, I think Arsenal need the 3 points on Sunday, and that might be their downfall. You know what I mean? They could go right. We need the 3 points here, boys. All out attack today. We haven't been scoring many goals the last couple of weeks. We need to be scoring goals, and that might play into our hands. We don't mind teams coming at us. We'd rather have teams coming at us than a low block. You know what I mean? But this on Sunday, if Arsenal don't get 3 points, then it's between us and Man City, and that's a fact.
Darren, we're going to look at your score prediction at the very end, but just from a sort of view now, would you take a draw on Sunday now if I offered you it?
Of course.
I don't know.
It's the Emirates, man. It's a super.
Arsenal
lost once at the Emirates.
See, I think the Man City factor, Liverpool have to win this game.
Aye.
If
we draw on Sunday, and Man City won on Saturday or Monday night, sorry, right? So if we draw on Sunday and they won on Monday night, they're only 3 points behind us, and they have a game in hand. So
no, but wait,
you can't afford at this stage. You know yourself, Stefan. At this stage of the game, you can't afford to be hoping. Oh well, I'll take a draw. No, you need to be winning all your games.
Trust me, Klopp is not going to play full-on attacking against Arsenal at the Emirates. I'm sure of it.
Klopp's why?
Because I'll tell you why. Because every single team that has tried to play open football against us, apart from you, which we should have beaten, we destroyed you in the first half. We should have won that game easily. Apart from Liverpool.
When was that? The FA Cup match?
Yeah, the FA Cup match.
We half a side out, and we still beat these 2-0. Go get over it now. Next year, lad. Next year.
You had Van Dijk.
Spurs should have won at the Emirates as well. Spurs should have won at the Emirates.
Yeah,
I know. Spurs should have beat these at the Emirates too.
Wait, Darren, I forgot.
He's beat Man City by luck. We deflected goal and everything, for God's sake. Here's an all one.
Okay, deflected goal. Okay, I'm telling you right now that if you play open football, like super open with a high line, Arsenal will.
We only play one way, big man. Rock and roll. 3 points on Sunday.
Stefan, I do feel it will suit Arsenal as well, because I do think Liverpool will come at Arsenal.
I'm telling you, if they come at us, we will beat them. At the Emirates, they're not beating us playing open. Man City didn't come to the Emirates and play open football, Gareth. Liverpool are not better than Man City, especially defensively.
I would have to disagree with you here, because we're top of the league, so we're the best in the land at the minute. Yes or no? If you're number one, you're number one for a reason. So we're the best team in the land at the minute.
Spurs fan. You sound like a Spurs fan. It's January. You have
no, it's not. It's February.
Okay, sorry. It's February. It's February. You don't win the league in February. Okay, like
no, nobody won the league in February, but we won it in March. The year we won it, remember?
Yeah, I remember. It was the COVID year where you won the league easily. That was the only time.
Evan, I want to ask you this question. I mean, if Arsenal do get the one on Sunday, do you think that could be the starting point of the belief in this squad that they can go on, they won the league? Because we know what happened last year. Kind of from March onwards, they kind of, I don't want to say they bottled it, because Man City were brilliant. They won 14, 15 games in a row.
No,
but the pressure come on. They have one draw at Anfield when they really should have closed the game out, and that spiraled. The draws at West Ham, Southampton, losing at Forest, for example.
We bottled it.
Do you believe if they won this game, that'll be they'll go right? We can now go on and win it.
If it's both ways. That's why it's a big game. If Arsenal beat Liverpool, it will galvanize Arsenal, I think, and they'll be like, okay, we're now 3 wins in a row. We're gathering some momentum, and I think Arsenal will kick on. If Liverpool beat Arsenal at the Emirates, that's massive for them also. I think you'll really galvanize them.
Tell me,
It'll
I tell you what,
it
see if
really
you
will.
lose, Martin Ward saying if Arsenal lose, do you think you're in a battle for Spurs for third place?
No, I think
Hey, hold on. It could be. It could be.
we're a much better team than Spurs, in my opinion.
Doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to get to. It doesn't matter. It's all about momentum.
If Spurs
I
were to
agree,
beat Everton
Darren,
on
I agree
Saturday,
with
they would
you.
be level on points of Arsenal.
Okay.
There you go.
No,
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Well, okay. That doesn't. Liverpool were in dire straits last year towards what was it, February, March, but they suddenly went on a really
Sorry,
good.
can I just interrupt you here?
Yeah.
We were the best team. We won the most games from February to the end of the season last year.
That's what I mean. Liverpool, if anybody had said Liverpool would get even close to top 4 last year, people were laughing. They almost got top 4 because they went on that run from the end of February up until the
I'm
end
saying
of the
here
season.
that Liverpool have only lost one league game since March last year, and that was
Correct.
Spurs.
And now,
So
and that
Correct.
was,
they're on a
and that was
fantastic
against
run.
Spurs. Yeah, Liverpool are in really good form. I'm not denying it. But when I watch Liverpool, I still think they have been riding their luck. That those stats will catch up. The same
For
way
11 months?
Arsenal stats.
Well, that's a long time to be riding your luck for 11 months.
I agree.
Fucking hell, that's what I keep saying to him. It can't be that long. We cannot be riding our luck that long.
Darren,
It would
I
be.
swear to
They
God,
all no. Every one of them players should be going doing a lotto every weekend.
Gareth, we got to do like a post match. If Arsenal beat Liverpool, Darren, I expect you here. I expect you on the podcast. You hear me?
Sunday, I'm in Belfast on Sunday, big man.
Okay, well, you better. I mean, on Monday or Tuesday when we do our weekend review or something. If we do another pod, I want you to be here and I want to hear your explanation.
No, we will. We'll definitely do something. Whether it's next week, I'm sure what we'll do is, even towards the running or something, we'll get fans on from. We have Man City fan that comes on. We have a Liverpool, Arsenal, plenty of fans.
And wait, yeah.
We can take a run preview.
Gareth, I just remembered. Let me tell you why I don't think, even if Arsenal lose, we're not gonna be. It's not gonna be a difficult race against Spurs. Spurs have to go away to Newcastle. They have to go away to Villa. They have to go away to Anfield.
We'll win that too. No, Anfield will not win, but we'll beat Villa. We'll beat Newcastle. Who else?
You beat Villa at Villa.
Well, Newcastle beat them the other night. Villa's race is run.
So
they're done. They're done. They look wrecked.
You're right. To be fair, you were right about Villa.
Wait. First of all, Gareth, 3 weeks ago you were on the Villa train. I told you, calm your horses. It's They're going to screw up. Everybody in the comments was like, Stefan, Unai Emery's amazing, this and that. What's going on now? Now Villa's race is done after a bad loss against
not just one loss. They've been poor since Christmas.
That's what I've been saying. But people in the comments,
we'll beat Villa away. We'll beat Newcastle away.
Villa away.
We'll beat Arsenal at home too.
Okay.
No, I'm always joking, Stefan. It's a long way away. We'll come back to that.
Newcastle away. Are you going to beat Newcastle away? That's a super.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not?
Because it's Spurs, Darren. They always choke. They always do.
Different this year.
Rich from an Arsenal fan. Here, Mates is asking you a question here, Stefan. He's saying, do you think Arsenal should have bought in January? Now, before you answer that question, Callum was saying to me before that he was so surprised at the lack of activity from more or less every team in the January window. 96.2 million spent combined from the 20 teams. I mean, Stefan, just before you answer the question on Arsenal, I mean, do you think it's a good thing that teams aren't going out and spending loads? The fact that the rules are being enforced with FFP, it stops, say, Man City going, do you know what? Liverpool and Arsenal look strong. We're going to go out and sign 2 world-class players and put it to bed. They can't do it because of the FFP rules. Do you think that's a good thing?
Are you talking to me, Gareth, or to Dan?
Yeah, you Stefan, sorry.
I mean, it's a good thing if you're kind of a more of a person that wants to see academy players given a chance. Like, for example, Liverpool could have gone in, signed the right back, but they gave Bradley a chance. Although people had
no choice. Had no choice, man. We had no choice.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. Poor Liverpool. You guys have spent no money over the last 3 years. Yeah, as Klopp would say, other teams spend more than us, and then the next day he puts in £110 million bid for Caicedo. But okay,
are we lucky?
Yeah, okay. Let's not go there. But I'm just saying that for me, it is good. It shows that before, when people were kind of they were just expecting Newcastle to now just churn up money and buy all the best players, just like Man City did 10, 12 years ago. Just like Chelsea did when they changed the whole market 15, 20 years ago. That's not happening. Newcastle, I mean, was there a more unsettled team than Newcastle? I mean, half of their team,
From
like
what we hear about
Trippier,
Newcastle, they couldn't even afford a loan fee for Calvin
no,
Phillips.
No. They
No,
have to sell
no.
before they buy again, Gareth.
But not only that, guys, the way they unsettled their players, Bayern Munich tried to sign Trippier. They unsettled them for a week. From what I read, Callum Wilson was also, his agent was trying to get him on the market because
United United were looking at him.
yes, I mean he's, you know, so like you look at Almiron, who was one of their best players last year. Almiron has been supposedly ill for 2 weeks because he's been linked to the Saudi League.
They were trying to sell him. They were trying to sell him to get money.
Yeah, they were desperate. Their whole squad was super unsettled. Like, I was shocked at how you think this financial Goliath that Newcastle is supposedly, this would never happen. But
I think Stefan, they wanted that though. I think they did it on purpose. So you know, because people would have been looking at their players always, because you know, I think they wanted buds to come in, so therefore, you know, it generated money. They go out and say, I think it was like a tactic.
But Gareth, what's your ambition if you're? Let's be honest, Kieran Trippier is one of their leaders, one of their main players, one of their most experienced players. Who are you gonna?
I get that. But he's going through a tough time, and he's 33, so they probably think this was the right time to cash in.
I agree. I agree. It's time to cash in, but like, so what happens to the rest of the season? Are you just calling it quits? Because if you sell Callum Wilson, Isaac is super injury prone. He's out now for a few weeks.
Well, I think they wanted to sign a striker. They sell Trippier because they had Livramento to play right back, didn't they?
Yeah, they have Livramento, but I don't think he's of the same level as Trippier. I don't think you can rely. I think he's really talented. I don't think you can rely on him as Trippier. Don't get me wrong. Trippier has been awful for 2 months now, but I just thought I was shocked at that.
Stefan, because we're getting off topic, and I'm just curious of time.
Oh yeah, should ours?
Just sorry, that question on Arsenal, and then when I bring Darren on to ask him about January 1.
I talk too much, Darren.
No, you're okay. It's just because there's so much to do.
Yeah, yes, if the right player was available. I'll give a Liverpool example. In the summer of 2017, Liverpool needed a center back because they had Ragnar Klavan playing there. Okay. Klopp said, I only want Van Dijk. That is it. They couldn't sign Van Dijk, so Klopp said, I don't want any center back. Arsenal are kind of in the same predicament. Everybody can see what Arsenal need. It is obvious. Darren said it. We don't have an option B. We need an Ivan Toney, an Osimhen. They would transform this team in terms of the options that we would have and the way we would play. However, Toney, the Brentford chairman, came out and said he's not for sale at any price because we're probably going to get relegated if we sell him now. So we're not going to sell. We'll just sell him in the summer when he has 1 year left on his deal. Osimhen, Gabriel Jesus has more goals and assists this year, and that's saying a lot compared to Osimhen. Like, everybody raves about him, but I think he's a bit overrated. So and then you have other strikers that I'm seeing linked, like Solanke. Why would Bournemouth sell Solanke now? Why? They're going through their best league run ever, and trust me, guys. I watch hockey. Their owner owns the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who won the Stanley Cup last year. So their owner is super ambitious. He's not a loser. So he's not gonna sell him. I'm telling you right now. So that's not happening. So there comes a point where people are like, why don't we just sign? I don't want to sign a striker for the sake of it, just for quantity. I want to sign a striker.
Has to be better than what you have. Has to be better than what you have.
Yeah. Not only better than what we have, Garrett. Upgrade in terms of the way Declan Rice came into the midfield, upgraded our midfield. The way Zinchenko last year came into the left back spot and transformed the way we played. That is, for me, an upgrade. And because Arsenal are a good team now, we are. Like, I know this season we're not as good as last year, but we are a very good team. It's difficult. The pool of players that can actually upgrade us are very limited. And usually the players that we'll be interested in January are probably the best players in the other teams. And so why would the other teams sell their best player at a cut price for it? This is the other delusion in Arsenal. Like, Arsenal are not ambitious. They have to bid. Okay, last year, final thing before last year, we tried to sign Caicedo. The Brighton, we were willing to pay 80 million for him. Okay, the Brighton owner said no, he is not for sale at any price because we're in the race for Europe. and you didn't sell him. Sometimes you need to have the opportunity to buy him. And I just don't think there is a striker out there that is available. If you ask me, I would sign Tony. I would pay the money for Tony and sign him. But
Darren, what about you? I mean, quiet January window for Liverpool, but a very quiet window across the Premier League. Do you think it's a good thing? Same question to you, that teams are having to work within the rules. You can't buy your way out of trouble. You have to try and, as you say, give players a chance, like Bradley's been given at Liverpool. And it was across the whole board. I think the sanctions, the Everton and Forest, have really made people, you think about Newcastle not being able to afford a loan fee for Calvin Phillips. We're talking 4 or 5 million. They're that tight to the boundary. I mean, do you think it's a good thing that these rules are coming in and stops a Man City or a Newcastle now getting going? Like, we're struggling when you go out and spend 100 million. Can't do it or you'll be sanctioned.
It puts everybody in the same par. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how rich your club is. Everybody's in the same par. So that's a good thing there. That as Stefan says, that like Chelsea went out and bought the league whenever Abramovich took over. They literally bought the league
Darren,
the first season.
I'm just going to scoot the toilet. If you carry on, I'll be straight back. Just you carry on.
Take your time, lad. They bought the league. Stefan, they did buy the league like the first Chelsea, the first season that Abramovich took over. So I think this sanction, these these rules come on, these fair play rules will come on, and you could really say that it's because of Man City. I think it's because of Man City, and because that they seen that Man City don't go out and spend. They don't go out and spend £100 million a player, or no, but they pay them massive wages. You know what I mean?
No,
like
they pay them in order to keep it hush hush and to not put it on the books. They pay them with like secret marketing deals, like
sponsors.
Yeah. But I think you have a great point. But I think the two main reasons, and a lot of people don't know this, the rules right now that people are getting sanctioned there, it's not FFP, it's the profit and sustainability rules under the Premier League. They're the more stringent ones. And I think the two main reasons for this is, I'm going to tell you, I think two. The first one is from a brand perspective. The Premier League looks at the Bundesliga and says, that is crap. You cannot have one team, because they're so dominant and so much bigger financially than every other team, win the league 11 times. That is not good for our product, for our brand. So we need to create a system in which we slowly kind of chip away at that and try and neutral, kind of make it more fair, make it more neutral, make it more unpredictable, make it more entertaining to watch. Because you watching Bayern Munich win the Bundesliga for the 11th time in a row, that's just boring. Like, you don't want to watch that anymore. And I would say the second reason is I would say, again, bad PR. The Chelsea stuff that came out, where they found that Abramovich had used secret funds through which he money laundered for, the Russian war in Ukraine, using those funds. The way he churned money and accepted losses onto his own account, which was illegal in terms of by Premier League rules, but because he used shell companies to do it, the Premier League looked really, really bad. They looked like they weren't clamping down on anything. They looked like there was no that anybody can come in and do whatever they want. So I expect the ruling on Forest to be just as harsh as it was on Everton. So our new man is stopping Bayern in their tracks.
I think he's referring to Alonso.
Yeah. You know what? I really hope you get Alonso. He's the opposite of Klopp, which I would love, and it's gonna go. He's gonna explode in complete failure.
Interestingly, we're getting back on topic. I know we went slightly off topic there, which was good because we wanted to talk a wee bit about that. But let's get back to the main conversation, lads. Stefan, I want to ask you this question because obviously the Klopp news has been welcome news for a lot of Premier League rivals. I think are looking at this and thinking Liverpool could be vulnerable now after Klopp goes. But just in the fact this season and this game particularly, do you think this is a harder game for Arsenal than it was 2 weeks ago? The fact that this Klopp, the fact between now and the season, it really, if you look at the last two games, I know one was Norwich, but Liverpool have responded quite well. They went and smashed Chelsea. It doesn't look like there's any effect from that. If anything, it's been a positive effect. I'm announcing that. Do you think that will galvanise Liverpool? And do you think that's a worry that they're really up for it now. If they needed any encouragement,
I have a very different opinion on this. I know people are gonna laugh, but I remember I was working at my company, and my manager announced his departure 2 months early, that he was moving, that he was leaving the company. And I would say Liverpool, it's going to go either two ways. Either they're going to be galvanized for a period of time. However, what I think is at the moment they fail, which is, let's say they go on a bad run, they go out of some of the cups, the motivation levels, just like I saw in my department, once you knew that manager is leaving, they start to dip. Because
so you think one loss could trigger a real
yes, in terms of one loss or the realization that maybe we cannot win, they'll be like, oh, it's you just naturally switch off, and you say to yourself that there's no point. He's leaving, so I don't need to prove myself for anything. Like, I'm not playing for my career because there's a new coach coming in or a new manager, so I'm gonna have to prove myself to him. So I would be very worried about that. If Klopp manages to control the situation and motivate, not only forget the main players that play, I think they will be easier to motivate. I'm talking about the sub players, the ones that come off the bench. Those are going to be the most difficult ones because those will know, what's the point of me putting in a shift? The new manager is going to come in. This guy's leaving. Why? He doesn't even play me. I have a whole chance to play once. If Xabi Alonso comes in, he might like me more than the current starting player. So my personal theory is that this isn't going to be as rosy as Liverpool fans think when he's leaving in this. Because look at all the greats. When did Sir Alex Ferguson announce he was leaving? He announced he was leaving after the end of the season when they won the league title. So it's very
interesting theory.
Yeah.
It's an interesting theory. That is one possible. It could come true. Who knows? What about you, from a Liverpool fan point of view, Darren? do you see that being an excuse for a drop-off, or do you see it as a positive that the players will really galvanise? And Stefan does make a good point about, managers announcing and players can't take a football. But the one thing you would say is a lot of these players, with their career, they Klopp, and they love Klopp, and they, I think Simon Jordan made a great point in TalkSport that the Liverpool team is an image of Klopp. The way they play is Klopp's personality, So do you think, what do you think? Do you agree with Stefan? One loss could trigger a real setback, or do you feel that they're going to really, really get behind him and push on towards the end of the season?
Well, I've never agreed with Stefan before, so it's not going to start now. So no, I think this is going to totally go the opposite way. Stefan thinks. They're calling it the same thing they called it whenever Michael Jordan and the Bulls called it the last dance. This is the last dance now for Liverpool. They're going to go all out. The team had a meeting the day that Klopp announced that he was going to leave at the end of the season, and they all come out and says, and it was held by Trent, Salah, Van Dijk, and Alisson, and you got every one of them under a meeting room, and they says, we would die for this manager, so we're going to give everything for this manager for the rest of the season. We're going to want everything.
Kanate says he would give his life for the next 4 months.
One
saying, look at how much of an impact our subs have made this season. I don't think these players will give up on Klopp. They will give everything for him. I'm
not saying they're going to give up on him. I'm saying that the impetus.
Well, you're saying one bad game, and then they're going to shit the bed. That's not going to happen. You're hoping that's what's going to happen. That's what's wrong with you. You're hoping that this is going to. It's not going to happen. And
Stefan, let me ask you, right? Is your theory based on hope rather than expectation?
No.
Yes.
No. It's based on.
Come on, Stefan.
No. It's based.
Be real. For the first time in this podcast tonight, be real. You're hoping we shit the bed, and it's not going to happen.
I'll tell you why. It is also based on looking at other examples where coaches.
No, you're just hoping. Your hope and luck. You're going. You're too lucky. You're too lucky.
Okay, I'll give you clear examples where coaches have announced prematurely that they're leaving at the end of the season.
But there's not every. It doesn't happen to every team.
Yes, Liverpool are this special club as always. They're different from all the other case studies.
You're right. I'm glad you realise that, Stefan. I'm glad you realise that we are different from everybody else. Imagine being us. Imagine being us.
Being you.
I know. Still, could you imagine being us?
Winning.
No, you can't, because you'll never be us.
Yeah, I definitely want to be you.
Imagine being us, Stefan, eh? And all competitions still.
Stefan, we'll let you come back in a few seconds. Time, just stick with Darren for 1 second here. Darren, I mean, a lot of people did, as I referenced at the top of the show, were worried, including Liverpool fans, when players went out injured, like Salah, like Trent, like Szoboszlai, three of their best players this season. Robertson's gone out for quite a time. Gomez has come on. So, I mean, they have been missing players over the last few weeks. I mean, have you been surprised at how well they've done? That Gomez has been written off, come back. Bradley stepped on for Trent and done brilliant. Jota's come on and stepped up for Salah. McAllister's come back from his injury like a new player. I mean, are you surprised, or is this just what you expect with Liverpool?
You have to expect it, Gareth, because we are Liverpool. You know what I mean? You can't have a player that gets injured and then another player coming on and not playing this and not expect them to do the same job. Like, I remember this on this podcast whenever Salah went to the African nations, and a certain man says, "Oh, we'll see how they get on now. We know Salah scored more goals than your entire team." You know what I mean, big man? We are Liverpool for a reason. So yes, I'm not one bit surprised how well we're playing. Conor Bradley, the next Cafu, big man. Next Cafu.
Here we go again. Flanagan. I remember when Martin Kelly was the next Cafu. Flanagan was the next Cafu. Why?
Well, at least them players were no.
What
we called the next Cafu? I've never heard an Arsenal player be called the next Cafu.
Yeah, I remember Flanagan was called the Merseyside Cafu. I remember that specifically.
Stefan, we're getting off topic. We'll get up. Talk all day about Martin Kelly's and Flanagan's, but we are about push for time. So just the same question to you, Stefan. I mean, for one, I'm very surprised at this drop. I mean, I expect Liverpool to drop some points between Bournemouth, Chelsea, possibly even go to the cup against Fulham, because they were so stretched. I mean, if you remember, the same players have been playing. They've had a lot of games. They've had to play Fulham twice in the cup. They've had to play Arsenal away in the FA Cup. They've had to play Premier League games, and they've come through them all unfazed. I mean,
they've been tough. Yeah.
If you look at Spurs, they fell off a cliff when they lost players to injury. Liverpool have been so consistent. I mean, how impressed have you been that they've managed to stay where they are?
Yeah, but Gareth.
No, it's luck. It's all luck, big man.
Yeah,
it's all luck.
Gareth, it's because you're Spurs. You're not Liverpool. Even though Liverpool have been good for 6 years, and he forgets that you had
6 years longer than Arsenal.
Sorry,
6 years longer than Arsenal.
6 years longer, and what was it like before those 6 years when you had Roy Hodgson?
Oh, we were thereabouts.
Oh, were you finishing 8th and 9th and being crap? But okay.
Do you remember the last time we won the league?
2004. Yeah. How many?
Continue.
Wait, how many Premier Leagues do you have? You have one, right? In 30 years, right?
Arsenal. One saying here how many Champions Leagues the Arsenal have. See, we can have this all day long.
We're not as good as Liverpool. We're not as good as Liverpool
all day long. Let's focus on the main points of this game. I mean, Liverpool's recent form.
No. In terms of it has been. I really did think that the Salah miss would be key, but then when I think about it, they have a lot of attacking firepower. They have a lot of options. So even though Salah is their best player going forward and he creates the most chances, scores goals, they still have very good backups in terms of Nunes, Jota's back. So they still have a lot of ammunition, if you can call it there. Their key players, I would say, that haven't been missing, and if they do go missing, I think would be massive, would be either Van Dijk or the other center back. That would be huge. So in my opinion, their key, even though Salah is a key player, I would say the loss of a Van Dijk or Konate is bigger because of the fact that the actual center back position is not as. I mean, who's the next guy after them, Darren? Joe Gomez.
I think the goalkeeper is crucial as well.
No, their second goalie isn't that bad. I would say he's not as good as Aston, but I would say he's good. But I would say
Gallagher is decent.
Yeah, he's decent. I would say Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez. The drop off from
Matip,
yeah, but
He's injured,
Matip
isn't he?
is
He's
is
injured.
out.
yeah, he's
is
injured,
out-
but if we had a full squad, a full
Yeah,
squad,
but so for me, it's let's see. They're in a really good run of form right now. They're flying. It's the perfect time to blow their bubble. So I really want Arsenal to to put them in their place on Sunday, relax them a little bit. Talking about we're this great Liverpool team when they've won one league title in 30 years. Okay. So let's relax them. Let's play our game. I think if we play the same way like we did in the FA Cup final and Liverpool allow us to have as many chances, I think we'll win. But I do agree. Liverpool have impressed me with how I wouldn't say they've even the Fulham games, they weren't that impressive. Fulham missed quite a few chances in those games. They hit the post, stuff like that. But they're tough. They don't give up. They stay, and then when they have chances, they're clinical. So that's been there. I would say Liverpool are tough. This is what I would give it. They're not soft. They don't collapse ever. They always fight. So yeah, there I would definitely give them credit. But let's see. I mean, it's still too early to make any.
Darn, let's come to you because there's a big decision to be made with Trent Futton ready to come back into the team. What would you do? Would you stick with Bradley? I mean, Jamie Carragher says today he's impossible to drop. He's got 3 or 4 man of the matches in a row. He scored a goal and set up 2 the other night against Chelsea.
But Chelsea are terrible.
Chelsea. Well, you can say that, but I mean, it's not easy to do. He's only the second fullback in Premier League history. They do that, what he did. So I mean, you have to give him credit. I mean, there also was the talk of could he play Trent at midfield and play Bradley at right back. What would you do?
Please,
would you bring
please.
Would you bring?
It's a hard decision, but it's a good one to have. I think he should play the same team as Chelsea. I do. I just go with the same team as Chelsea. Keep the team together. Trent will understand. He has to play himself back on the team after.
Trent they play.
You can say that, but how do you drop?
I do have a feeling he will drop Bradley and bring Trent on.
I think I could upset the apple cart. I really do. I think he should just stick to what will look your last result. Exactly. So I think he should just stick with that same team that started against Chelsea. The man were brilliant. We were all right. Yes. I'll hold my hand up. Chelsea should have had at least one penalty because the penalty we got was soft, and they should have had a penalty. It was the exact same sort of tackle.
No, the Jota penalty was a clear penalty, Darren.
But that's what I'm saying. But they're the same.
Trent starts for me. Owen saying Bradley starts. It's dividing Liverpool fans as well. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I think
guys. I really
don't. If it's not broke, don't fix it. That's where I see. Get the same team out, see how it goes, and if it does start struggling, which I can't see, bring Trent on then, see how it goes from there. You've got that option.
Final question, Darren. I'm going to ask you both this question before we look at the key battles and the teams and predict the match on Sunday. I'm going to ask you both this question. First, Darren, if Liverpool do win on Sunday, does it make them favourites for the title over Man City?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you agree,
100%. 100%. I think if we beat Arsenal on Sunday, I can't see past this. I really can't. There's nobody else. I don't think anybody will. If we beat Arsenal away from home at the Emirates on Sunday, that team will just be like, right, that's our hardest game for the rest of the season. I think.
You think
I really do.
Man City at home would be easier because it's at Anfield.
Aye.
Yeah, for sure. No,
so if we get a result on Saturday, if we get a result on Sunday and take 3 points away from Emirates on Sunday, I think it's a done deal.
Do you agree, Stefan? You think if Liverpool won, that makes them favourites?
Yeah, because playing at the Emirates, I mean, look at the game. We've lost only one game at the Emirates the whole season, and look at the game we lost. I mean, we should have won that game 4-5-0. Like West Ham, where they didn't beat it, like they beat us by goals, but Arsenal were by far the better team in terms of performance-wise. So playing at the Emirates is, It's not easy.
Stefan, is there too much focus, do you think, on that FA Cup game? I know Arsenal played really well, but Liverpool were very poor. I do expect Liverpool to be better on Sunday. Even if Arsenal played to the same level, I can't imagine Liverpool being poor.
You see, I would have had much more if Partey was back. I would be much more, because I think our midfield is far more physical and better.
Because if you remember, Van Dijk didn't play in that game, and he does make a massive difference.
Yeah, Van Dijk didn't play in that game, but so didn't Zinchenko. Kivior played in the game. So we can argue about injuries all we want. So Tomiyasu was out. Salah was out.
I hope Zinchenko plays.
I hope. Look, if you think, the main reason why
let's start with you, Stefan. Where do you think the key battles are? You've mentioned a few players' names there on Sunday.
Look, Klopp is gonna do this, and I would do it if Trent Alexander-Arnold is coming back from a hamstring injury, which is very there's a high likeliness to re-injure that, hamstring, calf. They're very easy to re-injure. But Trent Alexander-Arnold will be perfect for counter-attacking, because that is what Liverpool are going to do. They're not going to come on to Arsenal. I really don't think. They're going to play on the counter, because they know that with a diagonal ball from Trent, that's how they scored the equalizer at Anfield. It wasn't great play. It was literally an amazing pass from Trent over the top, and he allowed Salah to be one-on-one with Zinchenko, and you equalized. So I think he's going to play him and hope that, because Trent will create, maybe you score or you go ahead, and then he's going to put on Bradley, I would say, in the last 20-25 minutes for defensive solidity. That's my opinion. So I think the key battles is definitely going to be Martinelli against Trent. Now, if you look at the last few games, Martinelli has destroyed him a lot of the time. So that would be a worry. However, Trent is really good going forward. So it's kind of like you have to balance that out. I'm intrigued to see what happens. Martinelli hasn't been in good form this year, but he's going to have space, which he doesn't have in 90% of the games. He will have space against Liverpool, and he will run at Trent, and he usually gets the better of him. I mean, a championship winger will get the better of him. He's so poor defensively. So let's see what happens. That'll be the key battle. The second key battle, I think, will be Declan Rice against McAllister. I think there's only one winner there. I'm sorry, because of one main reason.
You're right. Man who's got a World Cup medal. That's who the winner is.
Yeah, of course. Giroud has a World Cup medal, but okay.
Yeah, and look how good he was.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing. He scored 0 goals for France in that World Cup, but okay. So in my opinion, that'll be the other key battle. I think Declan Rice is more physical and is just much more athletic than McAllister, and I think that'll be the difference.
Do you think Arsenal are superior in midfield to Liverpool, Stefan?
Yeah, I think physicality-wise we are. Yeah.
I'm going to bring you back in one second, but just want to ask you one question, Stefan, because Smith Rowe played on Tuesday night.
No, he's not.
And he did okay, but tell me what Kai Havertz can do that Smith Rowe can't.
I'll tell you why.
Why would he bring Havertz back?
Yeah, the ball.
I'll tell you why Kai Havertz will play. I think Kai Havertz will play because off the ball and his physicality will be key.
But he dropped Havertz for a reason, because he's not performing. So why would you drop Smith Rowe after one game?
He dropped.
Personally, I think Smith Rowe's a far better player.
He's not going to play. He's not, because Arteta will think defensively. He will think, I need to be able to put on a player that I know is going to have physicality, is going to run, and is going to press really well. And Kai Havertz, if you remember in the FA Cup game, apart from scoring, was really good. The way he pressed, the way he ran into the actual channels, I thought Kai Havertz was really good. So
I'm telling you,
yes, Endo.
I don't see it.
Callum is saying about Endo. Yes, Endo did have a really good game, but that was at Anfield. This at the Emirates, where the crowd is going to be on us. I just think Declan Rice he's just better than McAllister. I really do think that. It's just, and he's better because he's much more physical. That's my opinion. But let's see. Of course they're gonna, but those are the key battles, and of course the final one is going to be, in my opinion, the third one, which is Jota against Saliba. That will be a big one, in my opinion. That will be the biggest battle for me in the game, because we need to nullify Liverpool, and In my opinion, I think if I'm Saliba and I see Jota, who's 5'9", and if this guy wins one duel against me, I'll be really annoyed.
Dangerous player, but he only needs half a chance, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's and Saliba needs to be on him the same way he was on Haaland when he completely nullified Haaland.
Steph, I'm just going to bring Darren back, and I will come back to you. Same question to you, Darren. Where do you think the key battles are? Stefan mentioned a few of them there, and I mean, just personally from a Liverpool point of view, would you rather Havertz play or Smith Rowe?
Havertz all day.
I just can't run. I just don't see it with Havertz.
I don't think he can run. There's no piss. What happened? See at Anfield, what they done was they lobbed the ball to the right back where Alexander-Arnold was playing every chance they got so they can get the knockdowns for Havertz, because that's all they can do. He can't do anything else. He was just knocking the ball down, and then if they end up in, the ball was getting kicked out the Havertz and
so you think Smith Rowe will be a bigger threat? Do you think Smith Rowe will be a bigger threat? Do you think Smith Rowe will be a bigger threat?
He's better with a ball at his feet. You know what I mean? He's better with a ball, and that's how Arsenal play. Arsenal play with a ball at their feet. And I think he's better suited to an Arsenal team than Havertz is.
Stefan, I'll bring you back in a wee minute. I just want to hear Darren's view on this. Do you think because Arteta's banked on Havertz, he's kind of forced on they playing him? He feels he has to play him.
I think
spent that much money on him.
I think
Chelsea were like, what? Take him, Jesus! I will take that money, no problem.
No, I think
no other team in the Premier League would have spent that money on Havertz. Seriously, Stefan. Nobody would have spent that kind of money on Havertz.
That's not completely true, because Real Madrid put in a £50 million bid for him.
And Stefan, another interesting thing that come out this week, and I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm also hearing that Havertz is the highest paid player at Arsenal on £280,000 a week.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
He's stealing a wage.
Okay, I mean, he hasn't.
Right, Stefan, here's a better question for you, Stefan. Right, if it was announced tomorrow that Havertz had an injury in training and didn't play, I don't think Arsenal fans would give a toss. I really don't. I don't think they'd.
Gareth, I really think they don't see what. Like, I get it. He hasn't, exploded in terms of going forward and scoring goals and creating chances. And I do agree with Darren and you that Smith Rowe is better in terms of doing that. But I really think, like, for example, go watch the second Nottingham Forest goal, the Saka goal. That goal, not only did he win the header, he made a run that took away the other defender and then dropped and then left the ball for Saka and gave him the space. People don't see what he does off the ball in terms of his intelligent running.
I get that. He had a hand in that goal, but
he
didn't do anything. It's not extraordinary. Loads of players do it.
I agree.
I seen Andy Carroll do that sort of stuff. That's just sushi stuff.
It's, again,
you know what I mean?
A little bit of perspective. You say Arsenal spent a lot of money on Kai Havertz. You spend 100 million on Oxlade-Chamberlain and on Naby Keita. They both left for free. So every team has a screw up in terms of big money wise. I personally don't think Kai Havertz.
Pepe was a big screw up, wasn't he?
Pepe.
We can talk all day, lads. We can talk all day. Sorry, Steph. I'll bring you back.
But going back, I think you'll play him because of off the ball. Because defensively, Kai Havertz off the ball is really, really good, and you can see it every time he plays. We totally nullify in terms of the midfield. You rarely ever see them running through our midfield. You never see it. Because Kai Havertz is really good at that. And
Stefan, I'll bring you back on him 1 second. I'll bring you back on him 1 second, Stefan. Okay. Darren, key battles for you on Sunday.
Jota. I think I play Jota on the right wing. I do. I think I play Jota right side of the three, and I think him and Zinchenko.
Thanks for watching, Nolly.
I think that will be a key battle. If Jota's on it, then Zinchenko's on for a long day. I think if we play Jones is going to need to be at his best to help Bradley on that side of that pitch with Martinelli, to be fair, like. And that's me being totally honest.
Do you think Nunez will have a big role to play, even though he's not scoring? He seems to be causing a lot of hassle.
Nunez is injured.
There's a wee bit of a problem. He might not be playing.
Yeah, funny enough, Klopp said he was a doubt, but they then trained. He was on the training pictures. He trained then. So
I've seen that. But if he does play, then I think him and Gabriel. That'll be a good battle. I think that'll be a key. If Nunes can get him turned, and running the opposite way, Gabriel never going to. He's going to be on for a long day as well.
Lads, we're going to look at match predictions. We're going to look
right?
at match predictions here, but just quickly, Nolene's watching from Australia, which is fantastic to hear. Nolene's been a bit of a supporter since Keelan come on. She's saying pretty good refereeing. 8 a.m. here, so she has to move on. But that's great to see worldwide people tuning on. Match predictions, lads. That's the last thing to do. Stefan, how do you see Sunday's game going?
Tell the truth.
I have two score lines. One with my head, one with my heart. My head is telling me, based on the form, based on how Liverpool are so clinical and just everything is going their way lately, I would say probably a draw. Usually Liverpool Arsenal games, they're always high scoring. Like I remember when we went to Anfield 10 years ago, you beat us 4-1. Then you came to the Emirates, we beat you 4. It's never a Man United Chelsea like 0-0, 1-1 or something. It's never boring. I'm gonna go for optimistic. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Arsenal win.
Darren, how about you?
3-1 Liverpool.
3-1 to Liverpool. I actually think it's going to be very entertaining as well, like Stefan says. And I think reluctantly both teams will probably leave unhappy because they'll both feel maybe they could have won the game. But I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I think it'll be very tight. I don't see.
Get off of fence, get off.
Martin's saying 3-3. Liverpool fans see.
The Liverpool
any outcome. See if somebody told me Arsenal won it, Liverpool won it, or a draw, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's that tight.
Callum, 3-0 Liverpool. Like, where does this confidence come from? Like, where?
I'm looking forward to the debrief on Monday. I'm coming too. Lads, let's look at the weekend preview, and we will come back to these at the end about them score predictions to see if you change your mind. Just going to go through the rest of the weekend's games. Just give me we're not going to spend too much time because we've been on for quite a time. We're going to do a max 2 hours. We've got 17 minutes or so between these 9-hour games. So roughly 2 minutes a game here, lads. So literally even just give me a quick pointer to you about each team and how you think the game will go. Everton Spurs, Stefan, is the first game of the weekend. 12:30 tomorrow. How do you see that going?
Oh, are me or Darren?
No, Stefan, you sorry first.
I'm gonna go for Everton create a lot of chances but don't score. They really should have gotten something out of the Spurs.
Funny enough, I've seen today that they've a well-known injury list. Onana's out, the Corey's out, and everything. So
their midfield is. But again, even against Fulham, they created a ton of chances. So did Fulham also, but they will create.
I've watched all season. It was fantastic.
Because of the players missing, I don't think your away form has been very good. You've been
1-6 away from home.
Who?
Spurs.
I know, but if you watch your away games, you're not very convincing. You're just not. And Everton away, even though your record against Everton
it'll be difficult. It'll be difficult.
I'm gonna go for a 1-1. I'm gonna go for a 1-1.
Darren, how about you?
I am the same. I'm going for a 1 each. I still think Everton, we have a long laundry list. I still think they're hard to beat at home, and because of the whole points deduction and maybe getting more points deduction, it's going to galvanise the squad again. And I do think it's going to be a hard game for Spurs.
And Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche is gonna. You're small. Spurs' team is not the biggest. Like Sean Dyche.
And Sean Dyche was actually at the Spurs stadium on Wednesday night because I seen him at the train station. What do you call
Ginger Mourinho?
I think it'll be very tight. I think Everton, as you say, will make it Duffield, crosses, corners, ball into the box, none nonsense.
He's gonna pepper you. He's gonna pepper you with long balls. He's gonna put. If I'm him, I would play Calvert-Lewin and the other big guy.
Yeah, the only thing you have to worry about, Stefan, as you pointed out, Spurs are capable in 10 or 15 minutes of blowing teams away. And if we get they can knock on 2 or 3 goals.
Let's see.
Everton don't score that many.
Let's see, because if you look at every single Spurs game, it could have gone the other way. Like if you watch most of Liverpool, most of Arsenal, Man City, like for example, the Arsenal Forest game, let's be honest, that game was only going, once Arsenal scored, it was only going one way. If you look at Spurs' games, you always give teams a chance. Like Brentford.
They're top 8 Turby games.
Yeah, they're up in that. So away from home, Everton, Goodison Park is super difficult to go to. Like I'm not. This could be a real banana skin. They're and not only that, they're gonna be physical. And You
Owen's
guys
saying
have noticed
2-0
this.
Spurs.
I mean, keeping a clean sheet.
Interestingly, I was on that's why I was listening. I was actually on Chris Cowland's Spurs podcast. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's quite a big Spurs podcaster. It was on me with Chris and 2 other Spurs fans. One of the Spurs fans on predicted a 4-0 Spurs won, so that's a kind of confidence that is.
4-0.
I'm going to stick with my prediction that I says on the podcast, and I just think Spurs will have enough. 2-1 Spurs. I think Madison on there is a massive, massive difference.
Massive healthy, aye.
We know Madison. I think it's a draw or even an Everton 1. I think in a tight game.
He's the link.
You guys know
he's the link between the defense and the attack. He makes everything tick fees.
I agree, but you guys know what's going to happen, right? Sean Dyche is going to tell his midfielder the first thing you do is kick the hell out of Madison. Yeah,
smash him.
Yeah, just kick him, and Madison. So just if you've noticed, Madison can't deal with it lately. He starts to get annoyed. He starts to complain to the ref. If they can get into his head, he loses it a little bit.
So Stefan and Darren believe 1-1. Owen saying 2-0 in the comments. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs and at least 6 darts thrown. And then celebrate. Whoever it is going to do their celebration. So,
100%.
Oh, the big derby.
What do they call it? The M22 or the
M22 derby.
They hate each other supposedly.
I tell you what, Stefan. Brighton have only won 3 of their last 16 Premier League games. Now that is a shocking statistic. I know there's been a lot.
You stole my stat, so you don't care off. You stole my stat.
Sorry. And Palace are one of them teams. I'm not sure if Eze and Elise are going to be fit. They both come off injured. They are right, but when they play, Palace are a different side. Tight game to call. How do you see it going, Stefan?
Brighton are like Jekyll and Hyde, home and away. Like you saw what happened at Luton.
They stopped Spurs and haven't won a game since.
Yeah, they like, that game against Spurs, like they that was their best game of the season, probably. I would say.
I'm telling you, we played Man City this year, Liverpool this year, or no team has done the Spurs with Brighton does. For 7, they were pumped from power to post. I couldn't believe it.
I think how many shots did they have?
Brighton have won like 30 shots or something.
Yeah, it could have been. Let's be honest, like with the missed penalty and everything, it could have been like 5. They could have scored 5
in the last 15 minutes. Spurs could have scored 6 themselves. Brighton.
Yeah, that's true.
It was such a crazy game. But no, I think Brighton will win this. I think Palace are in a. They have a few really
away from Anfield.
No. Please hire him. I really hope you hire him.
Not going to happen.
I think it's gonna be a close one, but I think they'll win. I just think Palace are really poor, guys. I really do. I don't think. As a fellow Liverpool fan, he'll remember the great years of Roy Hodgson, and the football is awful at Palace. So I'm gonna go for they don't score goals. Palace, they the
problem with Palace is they don't have to be that good. If they say unless they turn up, they can.
That's true. That's true. They're really good, but I'm gonna go for a 2-0 win for Brighton.
Darren, how about you?
I'm gonna go 3-0 because I just think that Brighton are. They're not going to be as bad as they were last week.
It's going to be a high day for. It's going to be one of them. They're up on the sky days. They score 3 goals.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be as bad as it was last week. Your man De Zerbi is not going to allow that. And Brighton, no matter who goes to Brighton, it's always a difficult game. And I just think that this got a wee bit of a needle as well. So I think Brighton will be up for it. So I do think. I fancy a 3-0 they Brighton.
Guys, can we just? I know we don't have as much time, but can I just point out, is Roberto De Zerbi the most overrated coach in the Premier League? The amount of praise this guy's got.
Over the last few weeks, it's really come under fire because of their form. But
the guy lost 4-0 away to Luton.
Done a fantastic job last year.
Did he, or did he just take a really good team?
26th.
Yeah, but they had finished, what was it, 8th under Potter? So he finished them 2 places ahead.
Well, they've also lost a lot of key players.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's still doing all right.
And they're in Europe this season. But I remember Southampton had a similar spell where they were losing players and replacing them. But I think eventually it always catches up with you. Brighton keeps selling. It's going to keep being hard to replace these players as the more you do it.
Okay, next game.
I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton as well. Burnley, Fulham, lads. Just give me a quick score prediction on this because we're running out of time.
This one, Fulham are so Jekyll and Hyde, man.
1-0 Fulham.
No, I have a feeling. Burnley are gonna. I actually thought their performance against.
Burnley. We look
I actually thought.
that's
I don't know if you watched Man City Burnley. I thought their performance was good. They created chances against Man. I know Man City took their foot off the gas, but they still created chances.
Their home record shocking, only 4 points.
Shocking.
That's
too
true.
bad.
But Fulham, I mean, they signed Broja, so they'll have more attacking options.
1-0 Fulham.
Nah, I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm gonna go
1-1.
Fulham are so up and down.
I'm gonna go 1-1 as well. Newcastle Luton is the hour 3 o'clock game.
Ooh.
A game for Newcastle at home. Luton will go and make it difficult. How do you see he's going? Quick score predictions as well.
2-1.
Go for it, Darren. I'm gonna go for a little Newcastle renaissance now and some momentum. I'm gonna go for Luton are poor away from home. They're Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to home and away form. So I'm gonna go for an easy Newcastle win. So I'll go 3-1.
3-1. You're going 2-1. Darren, I'll go 2-0. Sheffield United against Villa is the 5:30 kickoff. We'll speak about this for a minute or so. Stefan, we'll start with you. Villa have had to really come off a raise in the last few weeks. I know you.
What did I tell you, Gareth? What did I say? I told you once the crunch period comes with Emery, once the little honeymoon period like he did with Arsenal, they start to drop off. I predict the Sheffield United. This is the ultimate Emery like game where he's gonna screw up. This is gonna be a Sheffield win. You'll see. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win Sheffield.
Darn.
I think 2 each. I don't.
As bad as Villa have been the last few weeks, I think Sheffield United are desperate. I think Villa won this 2-1, but their form, I'm not convinced. Sunday, mood on the Sunday. There's a few games on Sunday because of the Thursday night games. Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, big game. Bournemouth got a draw on last night there, because they've been on a bad run since. They got a point away at West Ham. Forest started well under Nuno, but it's going very much Nuno like with a very, very defensive cut. And the honeymoon period looks to be over. How do you see this going, Stefan?
I'm going to go for an easy Bournemouth win, guys. Nottingham are terrible. Bournemouth are at home. They're going to attack them, I think. They couldn't. Bournemouth have shown, like against Liverpool, that they are quite susceptible to the counterattack. I really do, and Nottingham do play that. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win Bournemouth.
Darren, how about you?
I'm going to go same sort of reasoning behind what Stefan's saying. I think Bournemouth going to have too much for Forest. I think 2-0 the Bournemouth. Don't think Forest are good enough to go away to Bournemouth and get a result like.
I think apart from Sheffield, I think Nottingham are the worst away side in the league. I think it's Sheffield, Nottingham. If I'm not mistaken, Brentford are terrible also.
Funny enough, they've only won 2 away from home, but they came away at Chelsea and away at Newcastle.
Oh, this is gonna be.
Funny enough, Chelsea are the next team we're looking at. Chelsea Wolves. Chelsea were desperate against Liverpool. Wolves lost out in a thriller against United, but Wolves are probably the more stable of the two. So I mean, this is a tough one to call. Stefan, how about you?
Wolves always give them a good game, to be honest.
The game on Christmas Eve was a fantastic game. I remember watching this game. It was class. Could have been 6-5. It was nuts. There's so many chances.
I remember 2 years ago the game at Stamford Bridge where Chelsea took the lead and then 2-0, and then Wolves came back and could have won. So the Chelsea Wolves games are always good. It's Chelsea. They're crap. They're so bad. Like some of their, just to go on a little bit, guys.
Pochettino under pressure, do you think?
Absolutely.
I think. I mean, if you look at his record, everybody, criticize Potter. His record is worse. His record is worse. The only thing that's saving him, I think, is that he reached the League Cup final where he had the easiest run in possible, apart from the Newcastle, and I think he beat.
Well, but Newcastle down to the bare bones, they wasn't it? They were Newcastle, and then they equalized. I think they equalized against, was it Brighton or Newcastle in the last minute? A fluke.
Yeah, it was against Newcastle.
It was against because Kieran Trippier fell asleep at the back. Yeah. So I think that's the only thing saying. But I really don't think they're gonna win. I think Wolves. I think Gary O'Neill is one of the most underrated coaches in the league. I think he's very smart tactically. And I think if he's seen what Chelsea cannot play against, that is the low block. They look absolutely hopeless when a team sits back against them. Go watch the Brentford Chelsea game. Brentford beat them
Well,
2-0.
Stefan, I'm sorry, our time push. So what do you
Yeah,
think?
sorry. 1-0 Wolves.
Darren, how about you?
1-0 Chelsea. I still
1-0,
think Chelsea at home against Wolves.
This is the first game. We've got 3 different outcomes. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I think it'll be entertaining. United against West Ham is a live game at 2 o'clock on Sky.
That's gonna be crap.
I think it's just going to be boring. But how do you see this going, Stefan?
I don't know. West Ham again are very up and down when it comes to this type of games. Like
Kudos and Bowen are back though. That's not giving them a lot more firepower in the break.
Yeah, kudos is going to be huge in midfield. Yeah. The thing I've noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed, guy. Man United on set pieces the last 4 or 5 games have been absolutely horrendous. And that's West Ham's strength. And if you remember the Spurs game, every single set piece that Spurs had, they could have scored. That's how bad Man United were on the set pieces that game.
Moyes, tell you what, Moyes is GO1 at Old Trafford. I think he
won.
Moyes
is gonna see that. Onana is so jittery. He was poor again against Wolves. They should have given Wolves a penalty. He took out the guy. I don't know how they didn't give a penalty for that. The second time at Old Trafford in the first game of the season, he didn't give them literally the same situation. I'm going to go for it's Man United. It's at Old Trafford. It's going to be a boring game. I'm going to go for a fluky 2-1 Man United win, guys.
Darren?
No.
I'm going to go 1-0 United. Boring. We'll come back to this game at the very end. We'll finish with Brentford, Man City, Monday Night Football. Will Man City win another game, do you think, Stefan?
Just say it, Stefan. Just say it.
Shut up, Darren.
Just say it. Going to be 4-0 Man City.
Leave me alone, man. Actually, if you've looked at Brentford's record against Man City, it's very good, guys, compared to other teams. The last 3 Premier League games Brentford have played in the league against Man City, they have won. I don't know if you've looked at that.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen now because Brentford they have so many injuries. But, Tony is playing and Tony loves to score against Man City. No, they're going to win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win, Man City.
2-0 City. I'm going to go 2-0 as well. Darren, how about you?
4-0 Man City.
4-0 City. Lads, it's been brilliant to have you on. Final predictions, just go through them again for Arsenal Liverpool, Stefan.
My head tells me 2-2. Nah, screw it. Screw Liverpool. 2-1. We're going to beat them.
We're going
to beat them.
On the poll, James. Just saying, Aaron, you stick on with your 3-1 prediction?
Absolutely. 1 Sunday, 1 the league. That's the way I see it.
Lads, we have about 2 minutes left. So before you go, I want to ask you your top 4 in order before we finish. So, Stefan, give me your top 4 in order. And I want you to take into account your predictions for the weekend. So if you think Arsenal's only 1, they're going to be 2 behind Liverpool. Right.
I'm going to go for Arsenal 1, Man City 2. Yeah, I'm sticking by my prediction. I'm sticking. I'm not a flip-flopper. I'm sticking by my early season prediction with Garrett. Arsenal 1, Man City 2, Liverpool 3.
And you did have Aston Villa on 4 for last time I asked you, so I wonder you stuck on my Villa.
No. I can't say Spurs. No.
If it's not Villa,
it has to be Spurs, man. I can't say Newcastle. They're terrible. Man United are terrible. Chelsea.
So you're going Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, and Spurs. Darren, how about you? What was your 1-4?
Liverpool, City, Spurs, Arsenal.
Interesting. I'm gonna go Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal as well.
Oh my god.
Lads, it's been brilliant to have you on. I'm sure we'll have you on again. It's been fantastic viewing. The viewers really enjoyed it as well. Enjoy the game on Sunday wherever you are watching it. I'm sure it'll be an absolute classic. If you're new around here, make sure to smash the like button on the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. Boys, thanks very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Nice meeting you, Stephen. See you later.
Nice to meet you too, man.